blog video. I put the question to a bunch of people of what it should be called, and Sci-Kick stuck. So, in keeping with the naming scheme, now I'll try to read your mind. I bet you're wondering why you're watching this. Okay, I'm sorry. I have no excuse for that. That was a bad joke. That's on me. Okay. I think I'm funny. Isn't that the only thing that matters? I think so. Okay, first topic, antibiotics. I wrote an article about them a while back, and you should go read it. I mentioned their discovery, but it's actually much more interesting than you would think at first. Everyone knows the story of Alexander Fleming. He was a British doctor who came back from holiday and discovered that the bacteria he was culturing in his lab had died. He had left the culture uncovered because really, who even needs lab cleanliness? And some mold spores had fallen in because it turns out that mold spores are just in the air everywhere, and every time we breathe some in. He probably would have thrown his sample away if he hadn't noticed that the bacteria around where the mold had fallen had died. Luckily, he did. And bam! Penicillin. Now we can cure most diseases, right? But of course, nothing can be that simple. Antibiotic, as it turns out, have been used in some form for thousands of years. Of course, we didn't know about bacteria until much later, which was also an interesting discovery that I might talk about later. For now, I'll say that the ancient world often thought that disease was caused by either demons or evil spirits. This didn't stop people from trying to cure them, though. But before I talk about some stuff old people did that actually worked, I'd like to bring up the fact that the basis of Western medicine for 2,000 years was based on the idea that cutting someone's veins open and bleeding them could cure almost any disease. So, don't think I'm saying that we should trust all old medicine. The oldest stories we have of people using some kind of antibiotic is from some of the oldest writing we have, almost 3,000-year-old Chinese documents. These prescribe using moldy soybeans to cure wounds. It makes sense if you think about it. Most antibiotics are actually created by other forms of life, in this case mold, which is a fungus. Similarly, there are stories of the ancient Greeks scraping mold off cheese to apply to wounds. Yummy. The first real proof of this we have, however, comes from ancient Nubia, which we now know as Sudan. Bones from around 200 AD have been found with deposits of tetracycline, an antibiotic we still use today. It's made by a kind of, and I know I'm going to say this wrong, Streptomyces bacteria, which occurs naturally in the soil. The Nubians most likely grew it on fermenting beer, and somehow may have figured out that drinking it can cure some diseases. Unfortunately, this practice died out and was forgotten about until the discovery of these bones in 2010. Serious study of antibiotics didn't happen, predictably, until after the scientific revolution. I get how the idea of tiny creatures that fight other tiny creatures didn't make any sense until you realize that there are tiny creatures at all, which we call germs. In the late 1800s, there were many scientists who wrote down the idea that the penicillin fungus could maybe fight some diseases, but for one reason or another, the research didn't go anywhere. In comes our esteemed Sir Alexander Fleming. He was a doctor in World War I, where wounds were generally treated with harsh antiseptics. These marginally helped, but often killed people faster than the actual diseases themselves. So, not great. After Fleming made his famous discovery in 1928, it didn't really turn into anything for a while. Penicillin was very finicky and hard to isolate. The results mostly languished until about 20 years later, when two doctors, Sir Howard Florley and Dr. Ernst Chain, took on the task of making it into a usable medicine. For this, all three of them were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1945. And thus, now I live in what we lovingly call the antibiotic era, which personally I adore living in. However, now I leave you with a warning. A lot of our beloved medicines aren't working as well anymore because people keep misusing them. So, please finish your whole dose of antibiotics even if you start to feel better halfway through the week. And, of course, don't ask your doctor to give you antibiotics if you have the cold or the flu. It's not going to work. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.
Hi guys, thanks for watching that video from the Geekwave. If you liked it, there's more over here. As always, like and subscribe below. And if you want more Geekwave content, you can always go to our Facebook and Twitter pages. And then after that, if you've found what floats your boat, go to thegeekwave.com.